Radar Sheila Foam. Well, let's understand how things are shaping up. The numbers in quarter two were a little bit sluggish, but let's find out what's the growth trajectory from here on. We're joined by Mr. Rahul Gautam, the MD of the company. Hi, Mr. Gautam. Good morning. Well, earlier you all were guiding for around 12 to around 13% revenue growth in FY23. So do you stick to that? And also, what's the margin trajectory from here on? You're doing around 11% or thereabouts. What should we work with?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here. Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, we are on track for that. The indications that you have is for Q2, and I would say that just because of so much of volatility and uncertainty, you have to probably look at Q1 and Q2 together. If you look at the top line is about 14-15%, and EBIT levels would also be something between 10-10.5%. So we are on track for that. But in the same breath, I must say that, right now, what is considered as a high season, October, November, December have historically always been great for us. I still see a bit of patchiness on it, It's good for a few days and then this suddenly goes a little soft and then it's good again. So the steadiness or the certainty of the markets are not back as yet. And that's what we feel. It should stabilize maybe by December or by January.
Mr. Gautam, and this is the strongest part of the year for you, right? Traditionally, historically, seasonally speaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This quarter constitutes almost about 30% of the sales.
And you're saying that it's kind of patchy so far. It's coming and going,
right.
Demand. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Is it underlying consumer sentiment being a little low? Is it inflation, which has kind of accumulated to where prices are now over the last couple of years? What's your sense?
So I think it's all of that. And especially India being India, very diverse, very different to what's happening in South Zone and what's happening in the North Zone. I think it's a mix of all that. It's also a mix of coming out of COVID times and coming out of, let's say, supply chain issues. It's also coming out of or getting into inflationary part. Is the wedding season is there. However, it's also impacted by the high prices. So I guess it's a mix of all that, and it's just that we haven't achieved the stability that we should have or should be achieving. But I think that the curve or let's say the waves are kind of slowing down, and we are moving towards a stable condition, but not yet.
Okay. There is a bit of a churn in the organization as well. Your CFO recently resigned. You also changed your auditor. Anything that shareholders need to be concerned about?
No, nothing at all. As far as the auditors is concerned, it's just because the term of 5 years was over for them, and there had to be a new auditor, which SEBI says, and that's why that came in. Similarly goes for the internal auditors, that once we changed the auditors, we said the internal auditors have also been there for 6-7 years, and it's a good practice to change. As far as the CFO is concerned, the gentleman had come in from Mumbai. Family is there, youngish, 9-12-year-old kids, etc. I think during the COVID times, it worked well because you could be operating from a distance. But when it came down to coming out of it, and what he thought that the family could shift and also, but it didn't happen. It could happen.
In place? Mr. Gautam, have you put a new CFO in place?
No, we have begun our search because it will take a little bit of time.
Okay. All right.
But the system is robust enough to.
So you're assuring the shareholders there's nothing to worry on that front, and you've communicated that. All right. Let's talk about TDI pricing then, sir. For the past quarter, I think it was around 250 rupees per kg. How have TDI prices moved? If you could give us a sense out there.
So it had actually gone up to about 265.
Okay.
Slowly, it is coming down, and there have been 15 to 20 rupees reduction. So we are hovering around 240, 245 at the moment.
Mr. Gautam, sorry, just to kind of take that point forward and tying this with the earlier point about demand not being steady, So if you can tell us, what will revenue growth look like? And as prices are coming off, as you're saying, will you need to drop prices, sir? Because I mean, there is kind of slackening of demand as well. It's not firm, as you said. So what will you do, and what will that lead to in terms of revenue growth for this year?
So first point, and that is regarding what kind of revenues growth do we see as far as FY23 compared to FY22 is concerned. FY22 also had, times where there were not much of sales. So again, a bit of uncertainty in as far as seeing what the growth is. But if we will just sum the whole year up, we would be up 15% or so. The prices, you see, our business has three components. One is the mattress side or the bedding side. The other is the technical foam side, and there is a small amount where we supply to other B2B people for making mattresses or sofas, etc. Mattress side, it doesn't change much because we neither do we increase a lot when the prices go up, nor do we reduce. It's not required that the system is like that. B2B, yes, the prices are linked to raw material prices. There would be some reduction as we kind of go along, but there is a lag between what happens in the prices of the raw material and the prices that we have for the customers. So I presume that there would be some couple of percentage, 5, 6, 7% kind of drops, but the overall impact, because that business is only about 20% or 25%, it will not make any difference to our projections as far as top line.
Okay, just one final question on your businesses in Spain and Australia. How do you see it shape up? I mean, things have looked good so far, but there are a lot of concerns, some challenges in the Europe region as well. An outlook over there?
So both of them are completely opposite, behaving opposite at the moment. Australia, which was a very matured, settled kind of a market, 3, 4, 5% per annum kind of growth, is on a growth trajectory of over 10%. And one of the reasons that we see is because Australia is also beginning to follow that Atmanirbharta kind of program, which is Australian-made, works for them, and imports from China and other places has kind of dropped. And we see that growth continuing for the next at least couple of years. Spain is a part of the European Union. Europe is in distress. There is an overall drop of almost about 30% as far as the market size is concerned for foam and its products. However, we, being a small part of that market, are not impacted so much. And at the same time, we have begun working on looking at alternate customers and alternate segments where we were not present because we were a very small part of it. As the year closes, I don't see Spain would be flat, Australia will be up, and Europe, of course, will be down.
Okay, we will leave it at that. Thanks a lot, Mr. Gautam, and all the best for the next year. Happy New Year to you as well. Since it's the end of the year, I thought I'll wish you. Thanks for being with us. By the way, you have a listing coming up in just minutes from now. Inox Green Energy.
Inox Green Energy Services Limited.